So just copy those links over into StreamYard as they come. And engage with anybody there who might engage with you. For LinkedIn Live, unfortunately, StreamYard doesn't support the chat there. So you'll have to open up LinkedIn Live separately for that exact event, which is super weird. It's super annoying. All right. For Tim, John, and Buddy, I sent you an email about an hour ago with a link to an Excel doc for you to drop feedback in. Do all three of you have that?
Yep, I have it open now.
Awesome.
I'm just massively distracted by this golf cart.
That's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I make jokes all the time about how Gather is more expensive than any other video streaming platform and more buggy, but I mean, the golf carts are pretty cool, so can't replace it. All right, welcome everybody. Hello, we have just gone live on stream. We're going to get started here now. We're just missing one judge. Hey, I'm going to ask this of Ali, actually. Ali, will you look for somebody named Chris Hood and like navigate him into here when you see him? He's going to be a minute or two late.
Roger that.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. All right. So we are now ready to get started. Welcome, everybody, to the Indie Game Academy Level 3 Cohort 7 Pitch Night. It is so wonderful to have you all here. If we can get one big round of Fs, hit the F button on your keyboard to get the night started. The big buck score on Gather. Amazing. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, no more Fs. Cut the Fs, y'all. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started for the evening. This is just under a 3-hour event. We'll have 8 different teams pitching their indie games that they've been working on for the past 4 months to a panel of esteemed judges. Hello, esteemed judges. Thank you for being here. We love you. We'll give you a moment to say hi in just a second. All right. Before anything else, I have to give one of my favorite lectures of all time. It's about 2 minutes long. Don't worry. And that is, since the beginning of time, humans have made games. Since the first caveman threw a rock at another caveman, and that caveman hit it with a stick and accidentally invented baseball, we have been inventing and playing games together. Some of our games are about as old as we actually are. This is the Royal Game of which is a playable game you can order off of Amazon for $40 that was actually invented in ancient Babylon. And the only reason we know how to play it is because we happened to find a clay, whatever the heck you call that, cuneiform? Cuneiform. Somebody confirm that for me. With the rules of how to play the game on it, which is wild. It's actually a pretty decent game. I own it. Pretty cool. Alongside us, our games have evolved from William Higginbottom inventing Tennis for Two on the radio oscilloscope, who, by the way, would then go on to work on the atomic bomb, which is kind of a wild fun fact, all the way up to modern games today with Sven Vink working on Baldur's Gate 3. Games have a phenomenal ability to affect their players. Anybody who works in this space would agree with that. My story that I love to tell here is watching my younger sibling play Mass Effect 3 for the first time when they were 13 years old. And in that game, if you're unfamiliar with it, it is known for being highly reactive. Basically, the universe responds to the choices that you make. And in this game, my young sibling accidentally got 2 of her party members killed in the same cutscene. And not only that, but one of those 2 committed suicide in front of them at 13 years old on the screen. My little sibling, who I care for so much and feel so much protection for, proceeded to march upstairs and begin crying. And that is the power of video games, for better or for worse. Ulysses, I can hear your dog. Would you mute yourself, please? Thank you so much. Awesome. Now, video games absolutely make us into who we are, and gamers probably wouldn't disagree with that fact. My favorite video game of all time is Chrono Trigger, which is an old school JRPG that kind of defined the genre. And I personally want to make the world a better place, specifically because Chrono Trigger propagandized me into feeling like that's my responsibility. I think we all have a little bit of that inside of us. This is why I believe that game design is the study of human motivation. Game design is essentially how to get somebody to do something. We happen to use a sense of joy and fun as our primary motivator in most games, but we have all played games that are totally not fun, and yet for some reason, we keep playing and can't stop. In fact, Facebook addiction partly due to gamification techniques, is a literal medically recognized term these days. So my final prompt to everybody here is to remember the wise old words of Uncle Ben. Game design is highly powerful, and with great power comes great responsibility. We're here to make the world a better place with our awesome video games, and that is why we are here in the IGA Level 3 Cohort 7 Pitch Night. To give you a brief introduction to the Indie Game Academy, we are an online gamified school for game developers. We turn students into game devs and game devs into indie studio founders. We're on a perpetual quest to empower the game creative to pave their own path, and we do that with a powerful 3-level system. We're here in IGA Level 3, our 4-month-long program where students actually form mock indie studios and publish games together. At IGA, we do 3 things better than anybody else. Number 1, we focus on interdisciplinary teamwork. We're not a game design bootcamp. We're not an engineering bootcamp. We're here to teach you how to work with other human beings. Wild fact. Number 2, we focus on project-based learning. Thank you, John. AKA actually releasing games. While any kind of formal education can be valuable getting you a job, the main thing that anybody cares about here is your portfolio and the games that have your credits on them. So every one of our programs focuses on getting you something to put your name on. And finally, we try to have fun here. If you didn't notice, I'm dressed up like a wizard right now, and basically everybody else in our team loves doing the same thing. Our mission here is to bring about a new golden age in the game industry where all indie developers can create their own income just by making games. This is IGA Level 3, which is a gamified game dev bootcamp in which students form interdisciplinary teams and build a game from start to finish. Our students go all the way from ideation, brand new game concepts, to launch in just 4 months. You are here at the very end of that 4 months with 8 launched games. This tonight is the pitch. Each cohort of Level 3 concludes with a judged pitch contest. The winning team earns points towards the coveted House Cup. We'll talk about that more later. And this is a chance for the students to practice pitching as well as self-advocacy. When you jump into a publisher pitch, oftentimes you're not actually going to get on stage. Most of the time, you're not going to actually get on stage and pitch your game. But this is a chance for our students to practice doing just that in a high-stakes environment. That said, this is meant to be a celebration of all. So, to teach you 2 celebration buttons, everybody can give one more F to the students right now. Hit the F key for me to give a round of applause. Amazing. All right. And then when you want to celebrate, but you want to be a little bit quieter about it, hit the Z key for me. Hit the Z button. Yeah, that's the dance button. If you're watching Gather right now, everybody's dancing. Not many people are dancing. More Z buttons for me, please. Perfect. All right. Now, we've got 3 core agreements that we ask for every time we run one of our online events, and they are as follows. Number 1, let's make this space as fun as we can. Number 2, let's celebrate each other, both our weaknesses and our strengths. And number 3, let's be kind and patient with each other. We're going to get through the night. We've got a bunch of lovely pitches. There's going to be some technical hiccups. There's going to be some pitches that might have technical difficulties or whatever. Let's be kind and patient as we get through all of them. Now, my video meeting requests for everybody in the actual Gather space, please keep your mic muted unless you are currently talking. We don't want to hear the dog barking in the background, Ulysses, but we absolutely want you to be able to talk, especially judges and the students who are actually pitching. Number 2, please turn on your video if you're comfortable doing so. We love to see your face and feel a little bit of kindred connection. For anybody who hasn't been in Gather before, here is your tutorial. When you're looking at a full screen, but you need to get out of the full screen, you just hit the escape key, and it will move the Gather screen to the top left. You can click back into it at any time. You can move with the arrow keys or WASD, and you can hold G while moving to move through other people, a little ghost effect. Finally, you can hit F to cheer. We already learned that one. And you can hit Z to dance. All right, let's talk about these teams and the houses that are here tonight. We've got 4 ancient and mystical teams. They're about 3.5 years old, named House Rogue. They're based on success and cleverness. They are primarily known for making successful games. And tonight they are represented by Team Shadow Weavers and Team Nightshade Blades. Can we get some noise for the Rogues? We've got House Warrior. They are known for their tenacity and their honor, and are primarily known for making fun games. We've got two teams here tonight, Team Bladesong and Team Arcane Warriors. Get a little noise for the Warriors. Awesome, awesome. Next, we got House Ranger. Rangers are known for making unconventional games. They're the people making explorative and imaginative games. They are currently represented by Team Stargazer and Team Sylvan Sentinels. If we can get a little round of applause for them, please. Amazing. And last, we got House Cleric. They're all about inclusivity and higher purpose, and they are focused on making those inclusive games represented by the Heraldhearts and Moonstorm. Yes. Incredible. And a round of applause as well to the professors of this cohort who taught these students everything they know and to build the beautiful games that you'll be seeing tonight, including Willem Beldenthal, Victor Blanc, Karina Diaz, Renee Gittins, Silver Colas, Christina Marie Drake, and Alessandro Villar. All right. Let's have a moment to meet your judges. Judges, you have about a minute or two to introduce yourself should you wish. John, would you like to say hi?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm filling in for Alessandro. Basically, I work with him. I am his counterpart up in Canada. I've been about a decade and a half in the industry. I've been a producer, game designer, level designer. Primarily right now, I help indie developers and publishers alike sell their games around the world with Exola. So I'm the regional VP.
Awesome. Thank you, John. A round of applause for John for being here. Thank you for your time. Heck yeah. Next, we got Buddy Sola. Buddy is the head of marketing at Aquapara Games. Buddy, would you like to say hi?
Yes, I definitely would. I'm trying to get on my good microphone. Oh, wait, I'm on my good microphone, right? You
Hey,
guys can hear me?
great.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. Hello, my name is Buddy. I'm the head marketing for Aquapara Games. We are, we're an indie game publisher. This is our bread and butter. We love talking to young, hungry teams who are looking to put games out into the wild. I run part of the biz dev team. The biz dev team is me, our CEO, and we have a biz dev scout. And so listen, this is probably the realest that it gets for someone like me, because I'm always on the lookout for titles that I think have a lot of promise and ingenuity in them. So thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys have some really cool stuff to show off.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Buddy. I am excited to have you here. Can we get a round of applause for Buddy and Aquapara? All right. Next, we have Chris Hurd. Chris and Tim, would you go as well? Step onto that little middle microphone, because those in the back of the room won't be able to hear you unless you're stepping on that little middle microphone between the seats. Chris, walk on over to the little thing there so you can say hi to us. I see you standing in the corner. You can also hold G to teleport through people if Christina's in the way.
I'm getting familiar with this platform slowly, I guess. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can indeed.
Whether or not you can see me, I guess that's a different story. But yes, hi everybody. Yeah, I'm Chris Hood. I'm the founder and CEO of Muddy Robot. 35 plus years in media and entertainment. I've worked for companies like Disney and Fox, Universal, across all forms of media. Been in gaming for probably just as long. Previously founded Blind Squirrel Games, and then now recently just started a new studio. So very happy to be here and looking forward to this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. Big round of applause to Chris and Muddy Robot. Chris also wins an extra special award because he only got asked to join us today because somebody else was meant to judge and they got sick. And so Chris said yes to a 3-hour event with like 3 hours to spare. So Chris, thank you. You're awesome.
Absolutely.
All of you are awesome. Heck yeah. All right, Tim, welcome. We've got
Hey,
Timothy
everyone.
Lim from NetEase Games. Tim, would you like to say
Hey,
hi?
everyone. Yeah, hi. Thanks, William. Hi, everyone.
You can
So
step
this
onto
is
the
Tim.
microphone space
Oh,
there. Sorry.
right.
Yes, perfect. Oh, yes.
Is it
perfect.
better? Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet everyone, and very excited for this event. So my name's Tim. I'm based in San Francisco and sitting with the NetEase investment team. Of course, we're one of the larger Asian and Chinese publishers, and yeah, for us, really excited to see and work with developers at the grassroots level, and just really excited to hear and learn about what you guys are working on. So hope wishing everyone the best. Thanks, guys.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much, Tim. If we can get a round of applause for Tim and all of our wonderful judges. All right. If you would like to learn more about the judges, there are little magical objects in the left and right hand side of the screen. If you interact with them, they will take you to the websites or contact info of the judges in this room. So learn more about what they do by interacting with those objects throughout the span of the night. All right, I'm going to tell you the format of the night, and then we're going to get started. It's time to actually pitch. We are just wrapping up the introduction right now, and then for the next 2 hours, we will actually be pitching. After that, we have about 20 minutes for the judges to deliberate and choose the winners of the night. During that time, the audience will be able to ask questions live of the students. The students will answer those questions, and then the judges will come back, tell us the winners. We will announce the winners, close down the event, and say goodbye at about 9:30 p.m. After that time, students stick around, don't leave. We will do graduation and actually close down IG Level 3 Cohort 7. We have 8 games to pitch tonight. Each team will present their game as they see fit. They have been instructed how to actually pitch, but they are welcome to use that pitch in any way they see fit. They have 8 minutes to actually pitch. Students, I'm going to be counting you down. I'll tell you if you have 4 minutes left, and then 2, and then 1. And after that 8 minutes, judges, you have 5 minutes to ask clarifying questions. So that is not time for feedback. That is time for if you missed something and need more information about something that they may have said. After all the teams are done, the judges will break out and choose the winners of the night. Now, I'm going to quickly hype build a little bit by showing you the promo for the night. So we're about to see 8 wonderful games. Here is 40 seconds on who they are. All right. A little bit of Fs for all of those beautiful games. Give me a couple Fs. All right, students, here's the actual pitch order. I'm going to be referring to this. When the team going ahead of you is up, please be ready, be on standby so that we can switch through you as quickly as possible. Check out your tech, make sure you're ready to actually screen share here and gather and kick it off. So Team Bladesong, you can actually get ready right now. We're going to start in just a second. All right, the prize for tonight, the winning team will get 100 points towards the House Cup. Every 6 months, IJ runs a House Cup because it's fun. One of the ancient 4 and noble houses will win the cup every 6 months. To date, the Rangers, Rogues, and Clerics have all won 2 cups, and so they're looking for dominance. The Warriors are, unfortunately, the only team that has yet to win a cup. So Warriors, you're the underdogs. Let's see that first W for W. So far, their rankings look as such. The Warriors are in the lead, but all 4 houses are close enough that the House Cup will indeed be the winner of the House Cup. Whoever wins tonight wins it all. It's the golden snitch, y'all. Judges, you've been instructed with this, but in case you need a reminder, you've got 3 different awards that you're picking tonight. The number 1 award is viability. This is the actual winner for the night, the one that gets 100 points, the most important category. So the game that you think could actually make it, could actually spawn an indie game studio, is the number 1 game, your award, viability. Category number 2 is the best dev story. This is for the team. This is for honorable mention as well as bragging rights. This is for the team that you just like the team. You think they're great. You think they've got good energy. Whatever it is, the best dev story wins an award as well. And the third category I'm asking for you judges to decide is innovation. The team that you think has become is the most innovative out of all of the games gets the innovative award. And finally, we're introducing a fourth award. Wow. The Community Choice Award. So audience, you will actually be voting on which game you feel like best embodies indies as well as the Indie Game Academy. Here is a link. Did I copy the right link? Yes, I did. Here's a link for a short survey. That survey does a couple of different things. Number one, there is a 8-question trivia in there. If you get all 8 of those questions correct, you will learn the answers to that trivia during the pitch night. If you get all 8 of those correct, you'll be entered to win a free IGA Level 1 ticket, as well as 50% off a IGA Level 2 ticket. So if you get all 8 of those right, you get some good stuff. On the second page, you will see a vote for the Community Choice Award. And on the final page, you can leave any feedback you have for the students here tonight. So open it up and get ready to go. All right, IGA heads of house, before we begin, do any of you have anything you want to say to your team? Ulysses, Jess, Hamna, Dylan, do you want to root your teams on?
Like I said on the chat, guys, it's time to establish rogue supremacy. So go get him.
Beautiful. Jess, you weren't here last time. Would you like to say anything?
I wasn't here, but clerics did represent.
Yeah, clerics won without you, so maybe you shouldn't say anything, actually.
Yeah, so me and my dummy are also here. I left my little scarecrow up because I think it's really cute, and I think it accurately represents me, especially since it's October. But all the best, all the teams. I mean, you guys have done so well. It's regardless of who wins tonight, it's like be so proud of all the effort that you put in over the past, 4 months, and how much your teams have grown since you guys started. And I hope you guys all made some really good connections and friends during this class too.
Heck yeah.
It was probably the most cleric speech, wasn't it?
It was. It was beautiful, though.
Friends.
Haley, would you
All
like
right.
to give anything to the Warriors, the Rangers? Thank you, cleric. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Haley. Awesome. All right. It is time to get going. If anybody has a feeling that this is fun, and particularly for them, we'd love to invite you into the Discord. Links to join in the chat. There you go. We have all kinds of free events that we put on, including this one. Tomorrow night, in fact, we have a special one that we're putting on specifically for the Indie Game Foundry, which is our upcoming incubator for indie teams. Tomorrow night, we're doing a networking event for founders. So if you've been looking for some indie founders to work with and start a company with, come and join us for the Foundry event tomorrow night. It's totally free. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Come and see if you can find an awesome co-founder to work with. Just come and join the Discord. There'll be instructions on how to join. I'm going to drop the link to this survey one more time. If you correctly answer all 8 trivia questions, you get entered for a free ticket to class. And then, of course, you can help choose the Community Choice Award on the second page there. All right, that means it is time to go. Bladesongs, are you ready to begin?
Yes.
All right, come on up on stage for us. And for everybody who's crowding over there on the right-hand side and is kind of stuck, you can find your way to some seats. Use WASD to walk. You can hit escape to get out of full screen mode if somebody is presenting. You can hold G. All right, awesome. Are you guys ready? I'm going to start the timer as soon as you begin.
Let me know.
Can we get one last round of applause for all the students in our first team? Begin.
Yeah. Wait for this applause. All right. Hello. So before I talk about our game, Bots in Bloom, I'm actually going to tell you about a little genre called mystery dungeons. Except that this pitch deck is not advancing. There we go. What is a mystery dungeon? So you may have heard of the most popular Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, a Pokemon spin-off series that came out in 2005. So mystery dungeons are a form of roguelike, often with procedurally generated maps, turn-by-turn combat, where when you move, so do your enemies. But they are more than just their gameplay. They are an incredibly popular niche genre. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is an unforgettable experience where you play as a Pokemon and overcome adversity with your Pokemon friends. And those friends are a key part of what makes a Mystery Dungeon, as the rabid fan base continues to create fan works, videos, and content about them even today. But there is a problem right now with the Mystery Dungeon genre. And that problem is that there's not that many new Mystery Dungeon titles coming out. And in fact, there is only one AAA company that makes Mystery Dungeons, and that is Spike Chunsoft. But there is a desperate need for new Mystery Dungeons. The fans demand a new Mystery Dungeon. And as it turns out, some members of that rabid fan base have landed on our team. Right, Allie?
Yep. I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky when I was 12 and felt an immense tie to the characters and community within the game. One day, like most 12-year-olds with small squares of plastic, I lost it, and like most middle schoolers, was absolutely devastated, having dear digital friends ripped away from me. After I found it, I promised myself I would never let that happen again, and made my cartridge into a necklace so that I could take this community with me wherever I went. For years, I wore this, but only one new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game came out after I had started playing. I never found another game that gave me the hope, adventuring, and community I so loved in a game that caused me to carry it with me over my heart for years. So we decided that we needed to remedy this problem.
And we are Team Bladesong. My name is Chris, and I'm here representing this lovely group of Chaos Gremlins, and we sought to answer the question, how do you fill that gaping mystery dungeon void in your heart? So we made a game to fill that void, and it's called Bots in Bloom. And this is a story about fighting to survive in a broken post-apocalyptic world with the help of your friends. Your robot friends. It's like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but Solar Core, or Solar Punk, as some might know it by. And what is Solar Core? Well, at first glance, it's robots with flowers and nature, which is rad, and there's not many people doing that. But also, we were tired of the dark and gritty themes that are common in media, and we get enough of that already. So what we wanted to see is a more hopeful dream of the future where people use technology to live in harmony with nature and with each other, and that's what Solar Core is all about. And we wanted to bring that to our players. We wanted to create an adventure with friends. We wanted to make people feel like they're an important part of a community. And we wanted to bring a hopeful story of overcoming challenges with the whole town at your back, because that's what Mystery Dungeons are about, and that's what Solar Core is about, and that's what Bots in Bloom is about. So, in our game, you play as Soria, an archaeologist searching for a way to help her people in the aftermath of an apocalypse. You uncover the ancient technology that can rebuild your town, along with this little buddy, PK4R. But the technology that you need to rebuild is at the bottom of a perilous ancient facility called the Endbloom, and you fight in tactical turn-by-turn combat and balance risk versus reward. Do you go deeper to uncover more of the Endbloom and risk your items and money, or do you return to town? But you won't be alone, as PK has a mind of her own and she'll defend you to the last. And when you do return to town, you can restock for better chances to go even deeper, and you can complete quests and learn more about the Endbloom and meet the lively and relatable cast of NPCs that support you throughout your journey. And additionally, we wanted to tell a story that represented the diverse group of humans that we are, and that meant having a cast with a diversity of ethnic backgrounds and including LGBT characters.
4 minutes.
And these townsfolk have got your back. They don't just give you quests and items, they also help upgrade Soria and PK's abilities and gear to help you prep so that you can finally reach the bottom of the Endbloom to discover what lies in its depths. But beyond the hopeful narrative, we also strove to capture the Solar Core experience not just in our 2.5D art and aesthetic, but also down to the sci-fi organic sound design and the original EDM soundtrack. So here's just a taste of the vibe in our boss fight. So, right now, we have a full experience. We have an hour and a half of content with a tutorial. We have a full story with a finale and a final boss. And we have multiple unique quests and progression. And we've play tested with close to 50 people at this point, and overwhelmingly we've heard they love our community of NPCs and bot friends and wanted to learn more about them. They love our aesthetic and the music and the sound design, and they enjoy the tactical and planning aspects of the game. And so our current plan is to take what we have to Steam, and in fact, our Steam page is already up. But here's how you can help us. First, we're looking for ways to improve our craft, always. So we'd love to find mentors to help us with that. We're also looking for connections to help fill out skill sets we don't have. In particular, if you are a community manager, we'd love to talk. And finally, in large focus, we could use additional marketing support to help us reach the fans that we're trying to build our game for. And if we could get that, here's what the plan would be. So we'd put this up as a Steam demo and start a merch line. Allie actually runs her own custom print and sticker shop, so we actually already have the beginnings of this. And there's other options for merch we could explore, and we also have some very adorable creatures. So then on the game side, we would move toward expanding our combat system and give our characters even more life through things like animated portraits, all while collecting feedback from the demo and continuing to play test. Then we would push toward an official release of the complete experience that we wanted to build, with more dungeons, more bot friends, more story, and new mechanics that let you directly impact the lives of the townsfolk by building out their homes. And this could actually take us to more like 10 to 12 hours of content at least. So most of these systems have actually already been prototyped and require more assets and testing to make them complete. And again, all of these would require community engagement on social media and marketing in order for them to actually land. So you can scan this QR code to wishlist our game on Steam. And if you'd like to contact us, feel free to email us or check out our website. And you can play our game for free this weekend only on itch. Thank you.
Amazing. Giant round of applause to the Bladesongs. Judges, you have 5 minutes to ask any clarifying questions. Not required, but if you have anything to ask the team, please feel free to. Step onto the microphone space there next to your seats to help us out. Judges, any questions?
How do I get out of the out of the presentation mode?
Hit escape. Hit escape to get away from the presentation. And then walk with WASD.
Okay.
Yes. And Chris, well, you can.
Oh,
you
wait,
can be up here, Chris.
on the microphone?
Go ahead, buddy. Yes, that one. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your pitch. I really appreciate it. I am a big enjoyer any game that comes at me from the perspective of, here's a small genre that has fans that is not getting the kind of love it sort of deserves. In the business, we call this an anchor, right? This is the relatable experience that you can use to sell an audience, whereas most players are very focused on hooks, right? What is the innovative experience that they are getting that is different from any other game like this inside of the genre? What would you describe the hook for Bots in Bloom being? If I am a big fan of mystery dungeons and I've played a bunch of them, right? What is the new exciting feature in Bots in Bloom that you are pitching me on?
So I would say that we're adding this new aesthetic, this solar core aesthetic that is not there in the other games. And Allie, actually, if you have any additional thoughts on this, feel free to jump in. But I would say that one of the biggest things is like, who are the friends that you can make in this game? And for us, like, we focused so much on the friends, the robot friends, as well as the NPCs. Actually, it's hard to convey that in this pitch, but actually we have some very lovable NPCs. And I would say that is the main thing.
I can also jump in on that, where it is so the main mystery dungeon that is really popular in the US is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where it has a very in-depth story. However, a lot of the demographic will not play it because it is Pokemon. And so a actual selling point of the game is that it has humans, and the only other Square Enix game that is human focused that has gotten popular in the U.S. is historical fantasy. So ours is in the future and solar punk, so that creates another distinction as well.
Awesome. All right. We got time for probably one more question. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for answering, everybody. I think maybe Chris was trying to ask a question. Chris, you can step on the little microphone space, or any of the judges can, if not Chris. There we go.
Does it work like that?
It does indeed. Well done.
Hey, wow. I've leveled up to like level 1. Is that? I figured this out. So my question is, I'm kind of curious in terms of research. You've shared a little bit here about your love for this particular genre and the lack of this particular genre being in the marketplace. And this is kind of a tough question to answer, but I think it's something worth exploring. You don't have to directly answer it, but I'd love to hear some feedback. Do you think that there's a reason why there's not too many of these games out there, right? Do you think that there is a demand for them, or do you think that the marketplace is relatively small, which would translate into why there's not too many of these games out there?
I can take this one unless Allie, you have a thought. Okay. So my understanding of mystery dungeon genres, when we were looking into it, it's very roguelike, and it's some people will call it like old school. And one of the things that I think has been more popular lately is more of like roguelike progression. And that's actually something that we added to our game as a result. So that's one thing that I could see. I think another is that many of the games are mostly like coming out of like Japanese IPs. So that's another one, is that we might not see them as much here in the US. And yeah, Allie, if you have any other thoughts on that.
This will be the last response as well.
Yep. There is so for demand, there is a few games that come out. What I can speak to for demand is that when researching demand, we actually looked at the popularity of the subreddit r/mystery dungeon, and how many posts there were requesting new mystery dungeons, and lamenting the fact that there weren't new mystery dungeons, and also how many big streamers were going back and replaying old mystery dungeon games when we were seeing if this was a viable project to pursue.
Awesome. All right, great answer. Can we give one big round of applause to Bladesong and Bots and Bloom? Next team. You guys can head back to your seats. Next team, forgive me 1 second here. Next we have, there it is, Stargazers. House Ranger Stargazers, get on up here. It's your time. You can hold G to go through people, since there's a big old crowd of people stuck there on the side of the screen. Stargazers, make your way up. Amazing.
All right. Just a small heads up for folks. It's Fleet Week here in San Francisco. So if you hear any sonic booms, yeah, there are jets overhead. So no one's dying except me on the inside.
Begin when you want. I will start the timer.
On that note, let's begin. So greetings and hello. We are Team Stargazer, and this is When It Falls. When we came together as a team to make this game, we settled on one core principle. We wanted to make a game where players could learn something about the world, and in doing so, learn something about themselves. which inevitably led us to the question, what would you do if you only had one day to live? Now, a lot of the ideas around this were a little frantic and a little hectic, so we kind of backed it up a little bit to how would you spend your final weeks on Earth? Which, of course, led us to the question, what would it be like to run a small business at the end of the world? And if you're wondering who on Earth would ask such a questions, we would. We are Team Stargazer. We are a constellation of game devs with backgrounds and experiences as diverse as our go-to slushy flavors. Now, and what we learned from this process is that humans are interesting. We like imagining the worst case scenario. There are so many games where just horrible things have happened and you kind of have to rebuild. In fact, I had an entire slide just for zombie games that we cut for time. And the thing is, in these games, the bad thing has already happened. And we thought, what about during the bad thing or when the apocalypse is actually happening? And TVs and movies have explored this in some very serious incarnations, such as Day After Tomorrow, and in some heartfelt and humorous ones, such as Don't Look Up and Carol and the End of the World. So we figured, why not games? In addition to that, narrative games have can help people explore very difficult topics, ranging from the fairly mundane to the very extreme. They can also make some serious money while doing so. And where we see our game in this genre is really with the task-based narrative games, such as Valhalla and Coffee Talk. And during playtests, people often made parallels between our game and Papers, Please. So how we've summarized it is that When It Falls combines the escalating dread and addictive repetition of Papers, Please with the deep narrative and dialogue-based puzzling of Valhalla and Coffee Talk. So a little bit more about When It Falls. We've taken the dialogue puzzles that people know and love from narrative games. We've sprinkled in some moral ambiguity that there is clearly a market for. And then to differentiate ourselves from other players in the market, we've added inventory management to really give the players more choice and the ability to strategize while increasing the stakes with every interaction. So When It Falls takes place in the sleepy town of Melwood, where an apocalyptic ice age looms. As the manager of a convenience store, you must strategically trade items from your limited inventory for things you believe will help you survive. Every decision carries weight, and each trade shapes the fragile balance between morality and survival. In the end, you'll face a critical choice, and no matter what path you take, your hands will never truly be clean. So how we brought this experience to life is we've taken a few game mechanics. The first is talking to your customers. Each customer will have their own unique needs and hidden stories, and fulfilling these requests will reveal more about their personal struggles in this rapidly changing world. When It Falls will also allow players to, of course, trade with people. This will be done from your store inventory, and players will need to carefully select the right goods based on the customer's needs and be strategic and choose items in return that will be useful for their survival while avoiding junk or worthless trades.
Or minutes.
In moments of desperation, players will also have the ability to scam, which will allow the player to take all of the items offered by a customer. And what excited us about this mechanic is we didn't really see a lot of other games that had deception as such a continuous and, in some cases, necessary thread throughout the experience. We also wanted to tell a story not just with words, but with the environment. So the store functions very much as a character. It offers an oasis of calm in this icy world. And what we've done is we wanted to show the slow degradation of peace. And not only will the player be able to see this in the condition of the store, but the music that will be playing slowly gets more distorted as time goes on, really ratcheting up the kind of descent into despair and the falling and the peace falling apart. In the end, the player's actions will shape the ending. And so the player will have to decide, do they save themselves, save their community, or just die? And if you're wondering what a hunting knife has to do with saving your community, my advice is play the game. You might be horrified, but you won't be disappointed. As for our roadmap, we see When It Falls as an episodic play. We see these different episodes as different stories set in the same world and episodically disseminated. With this model, users will be able to join our journey no matter what episode is the most current one and still be able to enjoy it without having to play the previous ones for context. That said, we would hope that they would fall in love with the world and seek out those others, or potentially purchase a season pass.
2 minutes left.
We see, so we are very excited to launch our first episode on Steam this October at a $2.99 price point. And our ask for you today is for $250,000. This will fund 1 year of game development, the bulk of which will be used to finance our development. In addition to that, we would also like to bring on a part-time character artist and audio expert to really help bring the world of When It Falls to life. The remainder would, of course, be spent on marketing. And in addition to funds, we would love mentorship in terms of marketing, community, and things like that to really get to help us engage this market that's out there. And that's all we have. Stay frosty, my friends.
All right, one big round of applause. Oh, wait, let me step up front. Stargazers. You've done great. Judges, you have 5 minutes. You can step onto the microphone in the middle there to ask any clarifying questions. 5 minutes for judge questions. All right, buddy.
Episodic play. What is your runtime for each episode?
Yeah, so episode 1 currently clocks in, I guess, depending on how fast you read, it clocks in at around like 40 minutes to maybe an hour if you really take your time and try and find all of the branching dialogue trees we have. I think one thing that we were really excited about was so people will come in with their needs and you can trade items for them. However, multiple items will be able to fulfill that role. So if someone comes in wanting food, you can trade them dog food and they would have a separate reaction. So if players really go full completionist, I think that playtime can get roughly to like an hour, but I would say average would be around 40 minutes.
Okay, and you envision each of these as being individual products on a storefront like Steam, right? So episode 1 would be its own thing, and episode 2 would be essentially a unique product or a DLC nested within that episode 1.
We would see it probably be a DLC. We would want them to be connected under the When It Falls brand umbrella. And because it all takes place around kind of this event of this, global freezing or snowpocalypse, as we've dubbed it. So we would want to tell the different stories around this particular event, similar to how Walking Dead did with that when their zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Listen, those are my 2 clarifying questions. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Judges, we've got 3 minutes for more questions. Anything else? Chris?
I just need one clarifying question because you started off talking about the end of the world, and then one of your game options is basically saving the community. So is the world really ending, or is that part of the question? Is that part of the storyline?
It is part of the storyline. Yes, the world is ending. However, there is an option to save your. I guess let's just call it. There is a place where you can community go, where you can go, or you and your community can go, where you would where you would realistically survive. Did that make
outer
sense?
Space. So yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm just just trying to get an idea of what your thought process is in terms of those chapters, and theoretically, if the world is really going to end, do you have chapters that might explain, did you save the world? Did you have to go to another planet to survive? Like, if the world is gone, where are you? So, it presents a lot of really interesting story narratives that you can touch on. I'm just curious if you've thought through some of that in terms of your master storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that there are a couple characters who we could follow, who you would interact with during the course of chapter 1 of When It Falls. We also think that we could touch on, we could assume an ending and kind of branch on that. We could also have like characters that maybe aren't related, but of course are still affected by this global freezing apocalypse. So I think that the opportunities abound. Actually, kind of fun fact, we accidentally outlined our sequel when we were making some design tweaks. And we were like, that's great, maybe for the sequel. So yeah, we're quite optimistic.
I'll also speak on this, on the idea of connecting our game with what's in the market, specifically understanding that this inventory system provides story as well. We wanted to create a game in which the puzzling of deciding what to give customers would end up causing future storylines. And so shout out to Charles and providing a branching narrative, and really an amazing feat of only a couple of days. It is polished, it is solid, and we really hope that you choose to play our game because it is worth the journey to share. In the discussing of how do we survive, do we go to this? I'm not going to spoil too much, but I just wanted to shout out one of our teammates providing the continuation of our narrative.
Amazing. All right, Stargazers, your time is up. Can we get one big round of applause for the Stargazers? And then Moonstorm, you're up. Stargazers, and go and take your seats. All right, Moonstorm. I hope you wow us. You have 8 minutes as soon as you start talking here. Russ, I like the fit.
All right. As you can see, we're part of the cult. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. I'm Russell, the prefect of Team Moonstorm of House Cleric, and welcome to our pitch for Rapid Eye Madness, soon to be your favorite game. And at the end, you can join our cult. So what is Rapid Eye Madness? In 5 seconds, it's a grim and cute collection of horrifying and fun microgames. It's an eldritch horror microgame bonanza with a cutesy style. So a tentacled TV monster presents the player with a series of challenges and minimal instructions, and it's up to you to figure out as quickly as you can how to survive and keep your sanity, or risk becoming yet another victim of the madness. Here are some of our core design pillars. At its core, REM is a Lovecraftian horror mixed with a fast-paced party game. So we have small games that we call micro games, and that lets us focus on small loops and amplifying the player's emotional reaction to those loops. Now, the Eldritch Gods do demand some pretty dark things, but we contrast that with a cute and cozy style to keep the tone lighthearted and fun. This is our cult. We are 7 strong, always looking for more recruits. We are spoiled by our artistic talent and technical depth. All of us have shipped multiple games before, and all 7 of us have contributed to the Rapid Eye Madness code base. We're very proud of that. Jan, our narrative designer and head of marketing, weaves all our work together with a magic touch. Our lead designer, Justin, is our cult leader and head of Eldritch lore. He's also gifted in game design, level design, and writes gameplay code and visual shaders. Our programmers, Seth and Andre, are passionate about keeping things simple and making all of our designers' dreams come true. I'm Russ, the producer, which means I run around Discord writing walls of text at everyone, and I cannot stay out of the code base. Our maestro, Joe, writes and performs authentic and original music and sounds, and does technical work, shipping those as audio events via Wise and GitHub. And our lead artist, Duke, is a gifted character and environment and visual artist who also gets into the engine to add prefabs and animations, which our programmers love. You can see some of our team values. I mean, cult tenets down here. The most important one is people over product. And for us, that means avoiding crunch. It's been a really strong guide for us, emphasizing a manageable scope whenever we're working against a deadline, because we really believe less is more. Some of our team obsessions. These things were really fun to learn about each other because they ended up fitting together like a puzzle, as you can see from our game. We're authentic. We have an authentic passion for all things Eldritch. We want to make horrifying yet cute visuals. We have fond memories of failing at WarioWare microgames. We want to create audio with an authentic sound. We want to flex our engineering and design skills across levels and systems. We want a strong narrative. We love party game vibes, and we want to make something playful and addictive. So here's some games that we think we're in a similar space to. At its core, Rapid Eye Madness, we've said, is a horror and party hybrid. And so from the party side, we like the Jackbox games. We like Golf with Friends. We think this is really important. It's approachable for non-gamers, and you can share your experience with other players. On the horror game side, Five Nights at Freddy's and Dredge are scary and addictive. And these fear-based games are not only very popular, but people love them for the cathartic experience of being terrified. And so we know both of these genres are well-known, popular, and successful, but we also really went for a look and feel that's cute and grim, like Cult of the Lamb and Don't Starve. So where are we now? We have 10 microgames and 10 audio logs. Here's a bunch of them. You can see kind of where some of the naming inspiration came from, trying to keep your eyes on all these. But we feel really confident that we've built a recipe for creating quality microgames, and we're ready to rinse and repeat. So now we're seeking a publisher who can help extend our runway and marketing support. And yeah, up next, we're going to take a quick look at a shortened version of our trailer. And now I'm going to hand you off to Jan, our head of marketing and business.
Thank you, Russ. Now let's get to the business side of things, starting with our formula. Our design goals are set around catering to audiences of both Lovecraftian and party game genres. We have created the loop to be fast-paced and smooth to keep our player engaged for the replayability value. And we have done so within a viable scope which we are capable of expanding and building upon. Content of each microgame has been visually and mechanically tailored to be marketed as streamer and social media friendly. Overall, we consider our formula to be achievable, expandable, and of course, cost-effective in the long run. Next, we have our vision. For future development, we have planned to expand on the core gameplay of our project. We aim to add over 50 microgames with the milestone boss battles, keep working on both local and online multiplayer, as well as implement different game modes for further narrative and replayability. In addition to that, we want to monetize the project with packs that revolve around bonus core content and cosmetic features to make the experience more customizable for our players. Now, let's talk about the value. We determined to ask for $200,000 in order to continue full-time development for another 6 months. This includes a $50K marketing and recruitment budget we would make use of to showcase the project effectively and to recruit additional talent when necessary. Any additional money would be saved for legal fees and to hold on to it as a backup fund when more resources are required. Ultimately, we want to develop this project into a $15 per unit experience with 50 microgames, additional game modes, and a fully fledged multiplayer system. Crunching all those numbers, we believe that we should and can sell 20,000 copies to break even. Thank you for listening and be a part of the fun today.
Amazing. I want to join the cult. Can we get one big round of applause for Did I just do that wrong? For Moonstorm. My bad, my bad. All right. Beautiful judges, you have 5 minutes for clarifying questions. Anything to ask? Please step onto the mic. Any questions, judges? Give you about 10 more seconds. Apparently, you guys knocked it out of the park. There's no questions to be asked. All right, let's give it one round of applause. Well done to Rapid Eye Madness. Sure. Wait. All right, Haley, what's your question?
I can jump on this one. When they say I'm the cult leader, I literally advocated and brought them all into the fold. Russ hates horror. I got him to be a believer.
Amazing.
We're convinced that Justin actually belongs to a real cult. he's just not telling us.
He founded a real cult. All right.
Let me throw one more out there. There's
Yeah,
one
please.
game where you toss a cultist into a pit, and the whole way down they go, and then and it's just Joe's voice. And so when you play, if you throw and they land on the ground, he goes, "Later, nerd," and runs off. That's like my favorite thing. So
yeah, that was
That's
one of my
wonderful.
favorite things about finding places to add more sounds, just to like make it more entertaining, to hard contrast with the horror aspect with the comedy, because like like I think all of the comedy elements are stuff that I contributed through sound, and that was just so much fun for me to do. And like putting in Easter eggs and stuff like that. The sound of the monster breathing is a wrestler, but it doesn't sound like a wrestler at all. It's Dana Bryan going yes and no, if you know who that is. And one of the glass breaking sound effects is the beginning of Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme, which I haven't gotten clearance for yet. I probably should.
It would be important, but that's beautiful. Awesome. Let's get one big round of applause again for Rapid Eye Madness by Moonstorm. All right, Arcane Warriors, you can make your way up. And Team Moonstorm, get off the stage. Well done. F to you. All right. Arcane Warriors, it's your time to shine. Begin as you wish. You've got 8 minutes.
On behalf of the Arcane Warriors, welcome to Trinkets. My name is John Bassett, the narrative designer for Trinkets, a game where the Crow King has died, and you have answered the call to compete for the crown. Filled with crow facts, bombs, and banter, Trinkets is an online multiplayer game where 4 players compete to collect the most valuable trinkets. The victor gets to claim the Crow Crown and bragging rights on the leaderboard. Helping us walk through this journey is Margaret Lynn, our head of marketing.
We're super excited to bring Trinkets to the market since it offers a fresh take that's long overdue. Combo card and party games built with 2024's tech capabilities. Whether you're on a Discord call or at an in-person party, expect a seamless, fun, addictive play loop. Plus, after Balatro beat Minecraft as the top paid game on iOS, we're thrilled to release a game where fans of both can battle it out and climb our global leaderboard. We expect most of our players to be between the ages of 18 to 35, with a mix of card, board, and video games in their home. They love the feeling of scheming their way through a round and putting out an incredible game-winning play that shocks and excites their friends. And of course, like our indie roots at the Indie Game Academy, we expect this game to resonate with the tastemaker friends who want to create fun memories and get on the latest trends of games before they get consumed by the bigger giants in the games industry. And here's Julian, our lead engineer and prefect.
Thanks, Margaret. All right, let's see how the game works. First, category selection. At the beginning of the game, each player chooses from 3 random secret categories. Shh, don't tell. Next, trinket selection. During each round, a player selects a trinket in secret. Egg bombs. Players get a limited supply, and they're used to destroy one trinket. Preventing your competitor from scoring is the bomb. Growing your collection. Any trinket that doesn't have egg on its face, the players keep. Finally, we move on to scoring and endgame. After 13 rounds, we reveal the scores. Trinkets are worth points for matching secret categories with a bonus for matching 2 categories. The player with the highest cumulative score wins. On this project, we had an exceptional team of individuals, each bringing unique strengths and talents, all working together to achieve remarkable results. Oh yeah, and I was on the team too. And now on to Joe, our designer and engineer.
Thank you, Julian. So the overall design goal of Trinkets was to create a game with simple and accessible core mechanics that still maintains an interesting level of player choice and intra-player dynamics. We knew that we wanted to offer players a choice between 5 trinkets each round, and we also knew that we didn't want every trinket to potentially be selected in every round. With both of those goals in mind, the maximum number of players would be kept at 4, but we felt like fewer than that would erode the social deduction aspects of the game. Based on feedback from our playtesters, we decided that 1 game of Trinkets should last for 13 rounds. Our original plan was 10 rounds, but players wanted more time to make decisions based on information gathered while playing. The number of trinkets in the total pool ended up being a natural byproduct of the number of categories as well as the number of rounds. We wanted an equal distribution of each category in order to mitigate randomness. So with 12 total categories split into 2 sets of 6 shapes and colors, we landed on 72 total trinkets, which also means that not every trinket will be available in every game. Another piece of feedback from our playtests was that players wanted a way to directly interact with their opponents during rounds. To accomplish this goal, we gave players the ability to destroy any one trinket via an egg bomb during certain rounds. But our vision does not stop there, and this is where we need your help. We would love to expand on the game by adding additional player actions like the egg bomb, custom game rules, and potentially even a physical version of the game. And now I'll pass the microphone to Sabrina, our wonderful producer and talented audio designer.
Thank you, Joe. Over the past 4 months, we've been developing Trinkets and are excited to announce that our demo will be out in just a couple of weeks. We'll be wrapping up feature development by December and we'll continue to polish the game through playtester feedback. Early next year, we'll update the demo for Steam Next Fest in February, with the full launch of Trinkets planned for March 2025, bringing the finished experience to our players. To bring Trinkets to its full potential, we're seeking a budget of $242,200. Most of this will go towards marketing and development, enough to cover our expenses and time in this cohort and the remaining future development. Additional funds will cover key areas like quality assurance and playtesting, localization, porting, and merchandise to engage and expand our community. With this funding, we can ensure Trinkets achieves the highest level of quality and gains the visibility it deserves. We've set the full game price at $4.99, with 50% of surveyed playtesters showing a willingness to buy at this price. We'll also offer a 4-pack bundle for $15.99, providing a discount for groups of friends. In addition, we'll provide free seasonal updates that introduce 99-cent cosmetic packs and keep our community engaged. Lastly, we'll offer merchandise like stickers, pins, plushies, clothes, and coloring books for fans who want to take trinkets beyond the game. With a target of selling 250,000 units, we would project a 44% return on investment for our publisher partner. And that's before considering revenue from cosmetics and merchandise. Achieving this goal should also generate enough funds to sustain the Arcane Warriors for 1 year of full-time development. And now, let me hand it back to Margaret.
1 minute left.
We wanted to thank IGA for bringing our dream team together, as well as everyone in the audience today for taking the time to hear more about the exciting world building going on in the castle halls and forests of Trinkets. We'd love to chat more with publishers who are aligned with our team's dreams and aspirations for this game. We're currently in initial talks to be featured in a Halloween live stream with a TikToker with 50,000 followers, and we're confident that this game will find its audience this cozy season. We're offering attendees of IGA's Pitch Night tonight and their squad an exclusive loyal subject flair on our subreddit for anybody who wants to join in the next 24 hours. Tell your friends and family to come answer the crow's call. Thank you so much for listening. We're happy to take any questions.
Amazing. Can we get a giant round of applause for the Arcane Warriors? Giant round of applause for the Arcane Warriors. 8 minutes on the dot. Good job, y'all. Yeah, also drop that link. Let's get some people in Reddit. All right, judges, do you have any clarifying questions? You have 5 minutes. Buddy.
Oh my God! Welcome back, gamers. So online play seems to be an important pillar of Trinkets. Can you tell me a little bit about the sort of infrastructure that you're putting together to allow the multiplayer to work correctly?
Sure. We are using netcode for game objects in Unity, and we're using both the lobby as well as the remote play, or it's called relay. There we go. Relay play. So basically anyone can host a game and then anyone can join that game up to 4 players. And if there aren't 4 players, whatever remaining, you need 4 players to play the game. So bots fill up whatever players you don't have.
Okay, interesting. Are you expecting this to be a lobby game where players are listing lobbies? Is there any kind of like a quick play feature where, let's say I'm a solo player, I want to get in and play with a bunch of randos, I click a button and it just auto sorts me into a lobby?
It's something we're looking into. Right now you can play it just with bots. You can just click single player and you'll jump right in. You still have to choose your crow because that gives you the name as well as your color. But yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. We got time for 1, maybe 2 more. John?
Hello. About this, follow up on Buddy's question. Have you considered going cross-platform with this? Is that even on your roadmap?
Yeah, we were releasing for both Mac and PC, and I actually just threw it on my iPhone yesterday, and most of the functionality works.
Oh, fantastic.
Nice. Short and sweet and to the point. We got time for 1 or even 2 more. Any other questions from the judges? Chris?
Can you describe your game in 1 sentence?
Do you want to take it, Sabrina, or do you want me to?
Yeah, our game is a card-based social deduction party game for people who like to play online with their friends.
Great. Now, can you explain the rules in one sentence?
So because it's a card-based game, there are a lot of times when rules kind of get way too complicated. That's one of the reasons we decided to put it on a digital platform, because there's so many things that you can do in card games on the tabletop that you would need to that you would need to have the computer deal with that, all those calculations and everything.
The short answer is gather the most valuable trinkets and win.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
egg bomb the rest.
And egg bomb the rest. Beautiful. All right, let's give a giant round of applause to the Arcane Warriors and Trinkets. Well done. Nightshade Blades, you're up. Take it away when you're ready.
All right, let me screen share. When are you starting the timing counting?
As soon as you start talking.
Is this
And go.
now?
Yes.
Okay. So hello everyone. I'm going to put you in the mood first. I want us to start this presentation by this mood. It's Sunday and it's raining. The weekend is over and you're reflecting on it. A cup of coffee in one hand, a book in the other, a strong smell from the rain falling into the ground, and recently baked cookies abstract you from this reality we are in now. So, yeah, welcome everyone, and thank you for your time. My name is Cami, and we are Nightshade Blades from the Rogue House. We are excited to show you what we worked on with our team, the game Bookies. It's a non-cozy game with a melancholic tone where you craft book cookies that can recover memories in a world that lost them all. So let's get started with why Bookies. So we are a very diverse group of individuals. We came up with lots of challenges and differences during this cohort, and we learned to work in this type of environment with limited time, training our resilience and problem solving, pivoting, and cutting out stuff as needed to achieve our goals. One thing that instantly united us was a passion for telling stories. So as we dig deeper into the topics that would appeal all of us, we ended up with Bookies, a unique world. We invented a word that could capture those different likes and personalities, and in a game that is about self-discovery and perseverance, portrayed in a fantastical post-apocalyptic setting with magical elements and whimsy. So being a diverse group also came with opportunities. The most important one is that we created something new made by very different and eccentric people, which is this game which is quirky, but it has a real cool soul. And that allowed us to capture all of the things that the team was excited about. And it was a catalyst for that push the development forward. So who is the team behind Bookies? We have Jess on our team lead and production master. And then we have Torin on narrative. Our narrative master, you will note everything about his work in this presentation. He also helped with game design. We have our architecture engineer, Jenny, and gameplay engineering, Elijah, me on game design and Bess, and also Brian and Errol helping out on art, character design, UX, UI, sound, making this game wonderful. So yeah, let's talk about what this game is about. So we have here some recording I'm going to show you. So Bookies is not your typical happy-go-lucky cozy game. Remember how we started this presentation? We started here in the rain and with a cup of coffee. So we want players to feel nostalgic and melancholic, but with a hint of hope and sense of discovery. So that's the overall feeling in Saren's Hollow. Fleeing a forgetfulness disease, the Olvidarus virus, the alchemist Saren led the townsfolk from a village deep into the wilderness. For all they know, society has collapsed. Luckily, Saren's skills led to a cure, which is Bookies, the magical book-shaped treats that people consume to regain their knowledge. You play as his son, and you carry on his legacy of making bookies to restore the community's memories after the disappearance of your father. So yeah, the main mechanics are simple and easy to learn. First, once you start the game, you get a little bit of the context, and then you get to listen closer to the villager that comes into your shop and deduct the bookie that's right for them. You then, after hearing the requirements of the client, you go to the cauldron scene, which the cauldron section where you toss some coins to get the raw ingredients. Then you cook them in the alchemic oven to get brand new bouquets depending of the combination of the ingredients. It's cool because you can always come up with new combos as you try new ingredients. You can
4
then go
minutes
ahead
left.
to the counter. and give the bookies to the customer. According to how accurately the bookie was selected, you will unlock their memories and discover incredible stories about the world before the pandemic. So yeah. Next, we have a little bit of information about how the game is looking and why this is looking so quirky and unique. This is an unusual game, as I told you. So the artistic direction is matching this. It has a wide range of saturated colors to showcase the artistics. The artist's odd-looking style. We have quirky characters that stand out. One of the characters is Beric, which is here in the store. He's an stoic ex-military man that we will judge intimidating at first. And then we have Diana, a gardener with no time for relationships, as she's obsessed with work. During our adventure, we use different ingredients portrayed in this slide. These were designed to capture a whimsy feeling, being quirky, colorful, absurd, but real in a fantastic setting. As for the UI and sounds that you heard in the previous slide, we wanted to evoke magical feelings, either punk sounds and being a bit darkish and mysterious. So also we use orchestra and classic piano for this. So next we have some comparable titles and their sales. After some market analysis, we see our game fitting this kind of genre that doesn't have an exact name, but it's a group of indie games that have an appeal for multiple players. They are all about meaningful stories told from the back of a selling counter. These titles show the viability of our product and the existing target market. So here you can see some estimations of possible unit sales and revenue for this type of games.
2 minutes left.
As for the game details, well, Bookies is available right now on itch.io starting today. We're proud of the work that we did as a team, and we invite you to play our demo whenever you want. We have the link at the end of the presentation. And for what we're looking for, given that we concluded this project, our ask is related to time. As we take the next step in our game dev paths, we ask for mentorship in our different verticals. We are looking for someone that believes in us, that sees our potential, that has more experience making games, and it's in this market. We would love if you could provide mentorship opportunities for our verticals. If there is something about this game that really excited you or might excite someone on your team, you can contact the lead for that vertical. That would be really exciting for us. So here's all our verticals. And yeah, thank you very much for your time. This is my contact and the contact of the team and our itch.io page. Thank you.
All right, amazing. Can we get a big round of applause for Bookies? Good job, Tammy, my God. 1 million words a minute. Good job. All right. Judges, you've got 5 minutes. Any clarifying questions? You can step onto the little thing there. Any questions from the judges? And Shadow Weavers, you're going to be up next.
How much time do you think, between your mentorship and what you're looking for, how much time do you think you need to get it to a point where you would consider it's complete?
Actually, what we decided with the team is that the project is finished and the mentorship is most directed towards our individual skills and growing on those skills.
Okay.
Any other questions from the judges? Buddy?
I'm interested in the genesis of the idea. How did the concept of Bookies and this genre and sort of story all fall into place?
I think this is a good question for you to answer, Torin, if you want to.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. So yeah, Torin, I'm the narrative designer and one of the game designers on the team. So it's two things. One was during primary playtesting, we had several concepts that we tried out with players, and this is the one that stuck the most. We were a team that had a lot of varied interests, and so we actually had a bit of difficulty coming together, and coming to consensus, but then responding to player feedback. That's what really drove us to dive in on this. I think secondarily, we all had varied interests. We had one person who loved horror, one person who hated horror, one person who liked pixel art, one person who did 3D art. So there was a lot of trying to figure out something that would excite all of us. And so the narrative actually ended up being kind of one of the things that we were able to play with and find something that For example, someone who we found that Aetherpunk was kind of an artistic style that worked and didn't play into kind of as much of the horror piece. And we were also able to avoid kind of going too far on the other side of being too cutesy with a kind of apocalyptic story. So there's a bit of just like a merging of all of it together between like just design and narrative that really kind of made it like exciting for us.
Answer your question, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. We've got time for, hey, Errol, I see you there in the judge area. If you'll step back out, just so the judges have a little bit more space. We've got time for probably one or two more. Any more questions from the judges? All right. One big round of applause for Nightshade Blades. Well done. F's for you. And then Shadow Weavers, make your way up. Begin at your leisure.
You guys see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you so much for coming to Pitch Night. We are Moonlight Moss Studios, also known as Team Shadow Weavers. Moonlight Moss Studios embodies the essence of creativity, mystery, and beauty found in fantasy worlds. Our name reflects our commitment to crafting evocative experiences that transport the player into new realms, and we aim to offer fresh perspectives and innovative gameplay that's born from the freedom and passion of indie development. My name is Kathy, and I'm here with my teammates Corey, Solomon, Raven, Trina, and Faith. We're extremely excited to present our game, When the Sun Sets, which is a casual experience that's set in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where you manage a charming bed and breakfast by day and defend it from rampant cryptids at night.
Our team drew inspiration from games like Cult of the Lamb, Dave the Diver, Papers, Please, and Vampire Survivors. These games combine strong management mechanics, niche storylines, and hectic survival modes that drive replayability. We especially focused on the engaging aspects of Dave the Diver and the addictive combat of Vampire Survivors to shape our game's identity. In the end, we learned that we wanted to make a game that has universally recognizable mechanics and a unique fantasy that's inspired by reality. Top-selling casual games such as Dave the Diver and Supermarket Simulator demonstrate that management gameplay performs well. However, Steam reviews indicate that overly complex management mechanics can actually detract from the experience, and a compelling story goes a long way. What we learned is that casual management games with intuitive mechanics and a captivating narrative are more likely to resonate with players and also offer a balance of strategy and fun. We noticed that there's a lack of supernatural themed games in these genres, a lack of exciting gameplay and management games, and a strong desire for intriguing NPCs and plot events. We decided to include pillars of engagement, emotion, skill, and intellectual challenges to design a unique game that blends casual management and action arcade gameplay seamlessly. Creating a casual management game with action elements put our predicted sales to about 1.4 million. That's the dream, right? Well, what this showed us was that the potential of mixing action and management genres could do in today's casual indie game market. Our game seeks to reflect the struggles of the Appalachian region, highlighting issues like generational poverty and the drive to create something from nothing. The player begins their journey by unexpectedly inheriting a humble bed and breakfast in the town of Grimglades and aims to grow it into a successful business while fostering a sense of safety and community. Alongside this, they protect the region from cryptids, blending themes of survival and what we call empowerment fantasy that empowers both the player and the community. Appalachia's unique setting, combined with the intriguing lore of cryptids, adds depth and authenticity to the game's world. As the story progresses, the player discovers that there's more to Grimglades than what meets the eye. They uncover mysteries about the nocturnal cryptid population through unique NPC storylines to investigate where they came from and why they're so interested in the rural Appalachian town.
So When the Sun Sets is split into two segments, day and night. And as you see here, this is our day cycle, which is basically you're managing your bed and breakfast. That includes buying and upgrading your rooms, looking at your agenda for the day and progressing in the narrative storyline, checking in guests, and then recruiting and hiring your employees. Those employees will come into the night with you and fight the cryptids that threaten the town. And yeah, they fight alongside you as your weapons. And because of this, you have to be careful and have some strategy with it, because if they die, you are left defenseless and basically left to perish. We aim to enhance this night gameplay by ramping up the difficulty each night and having a bullet hell visual landscape, just like Vampire Survivors. The more you progress in the quest lines and defeating the cryptids, you will unlock stronger employees and their different abilities and enemy cryptid types. And the cryptids are the focal point of our game, and we wanted to make them look exceptional and make them feel larger than life and be vibrant, almost wanting them to mirror the quirky personalities of the townspeople that you face and you meet in the narrative. We embrace a lighthearted tone with these characters and wanting them to have a blend of creepy and cute, making sure that they are not only memorable, but also have a whimsical charm that comes with the gameplay.
Yeah, so based on market research, we plan to release When the Sun Sets on PC through Steam at a fair yet competitive price of $9.99. Currently, we have our demo completed and released to it, and that includes our core mechanics and gameplay. Through various playtests, we discovered that nearly every player loved the townsfolk and the elusive cryptid beasts, and we want to expand on those elements to deepen the player's connection to the world and create even more memorable interactions. Additionally, our team plans on adding more employee abilities to unlock different ways to play. And all of this would lead up to May 2025, which would be when we officially launch our game to Steam. So we're excited to share some of the key features and goals that we have planned to elevate the player experience and keep the gameplay fresh and engaging. So we want to take a deeper dive into Grimglaves and invite players to uncover new secrets and explore richer layers of the world as the story unfolds. For our fellow completionists, we want to reward collectors with a variety of achievements to strive for. Players will feel empowered to personalize their bed and breakfast and make it uniquely theirs. And finally, our desire to port When the Sun Sets to mobile will enable players to take their adventure on the go. So of course, this would not be possible without assistance. We're asking for a total of $70,000 to fund our current development team and also hire 2 additional core members. We also have a budget specifically allotted to marketing, which includes but isn't limited to game promotion with teaser trailers and merchandise, including clothing, stickers, art, and more. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy our game as much as we enjoyed working on it. Please keep up to date with our team on LinkedIn and stay tuned for future updates.
I just realized that I was muted that whole time I was giving you guys time warnings. Well done. Awesome. Let's give a giant round of applause to the Shadow Weavers. That whole time I was giving them time warnings, but I was muted, and they did it without me, so extra good job. All right, to the judges, 5 minutes for clarifying questions. John, I see you poised. Are you waiting?
I am actually.
All right, let's go.
So comment first. You seem to have a very solid grasp of the business aspects of running a game studio, and you're still asking for some mentorship. Can you clarify what areas you would like mentorship in?
So one of the big kind of areas we want mentorship in is just the process of porting to mobile. We we discussed what this kind of meant with port assistance, and we ultimately didn't really come up with a definitive answer because we just don't know enough about the process. So our main need is, I guess, advising for this area. So developing and testing services, and maybe contracting with the platform.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, looks like Buddy, you waiting?
I am super muted, huh? Okay. So I'm interested in sort of the simplest, shortest way that you could sort of describe your game to a player. Let's say you're at like a convention, you're at PAX East or something. Some player comes up, they want to play your demo. What is your, 2-line, 5-second pitch to get their butt in the seat?
We'd probably describe our game as you own a bread and breakfast that's overrun with cryptids at night.
Okay, that's a great hook. And then something else I was wondering is what are some other games that are leveraging the kind of cryptid space that you think are doing a sort of a good or an interesting job that you want to take from or steal from or learn from?
Could you repeat that question? I kind of cut out there.
The question is, what are some other games that are looking at sort of the cryptid space that you've been tracking, and anything that you want to take from or learn from in that group?
Yeah, so I think the closest game that we found to this is one of our game inspirations, which was Graveyard Keeper. It's similar to Stardew Valley, except you are running a graveyard and you specifically have to defend that graveyard against ghosts and other monsters. So there's nothing that we saw that's successful in terms of having a cryptid theme and cryptids in the game, but we could find a lot of other spooky games like Five Nights at Freddy's, but mainly it was Graveyard Keeper that inspired us. And they're still in 2024 in Q1 and Q2 they broke 200K in sales. So they're they're still selling units up until now, and this game was released around like 2016.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
All right, we probably got time for one more. Questions from judges? All righty. Then let's give a giant round of applause again to the Shadow Weavers. Well done. And Sylvan Sentinels, you can come on up. Look at that. We're going to be on time. Wild. That never happens. All right, Sylvan Sentinels, when you're ready.
All right, sorry, just setting up here real quick. All right, so hello everyone, how are y'all doing tonight? We're the Sylvan Sentinels, and we'd like to present our game Conduit. So, roguelikes are a very popular subgenre of games, with action roguelikes in particular having a lot of big titles. They are well known for the random level generation and game runs that end in permadeath. However, most games with random level generation, such as Hades or The Binding of Isaac, have closed off, top-down dungeon crawler level design. And other games, such as Risk of Rain 2, while having open level design, gets rid of the random generation entirely. We recognize that there's a gap in this market, and here to talk about the solution is our game designer, Marcelo.
Thank you, Colleen. With our game, we plan to address that issue by offering fully open 3D worlds with the necessary movement options to accommodate the player. We use level design techniques from both dungeon crawlers and open world games alike to create unique landscapes that are fun to explore and fight in. Conduit is a narrative and combat-driven roguelite with random level generation. As the Conduit, players find themselves exploring these randomly generated worlds with one mission: keep fighting. Slice and shoot through enemies that represent the hardships of human experience, empower others to overcome their hardships, and over time, find the strength to overcome your own. Levels, items, and enemy placements are all randomly chosen, ensuring no playthrough will be the same. We also have an experience system that accommodates all different types of players. Through leveling up, players grow stronger in order to meet every companion and experience their stories. Speaking of, companions can be found randomly throughout the game. Here to talk more about that is our music and sound designer, Gabe.
Right, so for our
creative direction. Firstly, our narrative. We feature an emotional narrative that relies heavily on the human experience and the human condition. Our themes we explore by the companions that Marcel mentioned that follow you throughout the adventure. We really wanted to create a narrative that anyone would be able to relate to, no matter how particular their story. And we also wanted a narrative that was scalable, something that we could build on in later updates. So we have companions with their own unique stories that, as we add new ones, will come with a new theme to explore. The narrative is also married to the gameplay loop and woven into the environment and world building, which brings me right into the art. So our world building is, as the worlds are generated, we wanted to keep an abstract and timeless feel to them, almost as if they were at any place in space or time. We wanted to keep it bright and limitless. The characters are also brimming with personality. Again, we want to have this be able to be scaled up. So with every new character we add, a new map to explore to pair with them, a new theme, a new color palette, new enemies to fight, new power-ups to explore, and more, all that. So we wanted to have the design teeter between familiar and abstract, our characters allowing any player to connect with them. And talking about connection, we get to the music and sound effects. First, we wanted to stress Limbo's connection and tether to the real world through emphasis on organic instruments. We also have an original game soundtrack entirely in E-flat major, something that classically has this effect of getting the listener to think about the emotions that they're feeling more than other keys do. Our reactive music that we feature based on whether or not you're in combat, fighting the boss, etc., and every sound effect having a bit of randomization melds with the rest of the creative direction to result in no two moments, no two runs being experienced the same. So with all that framework laid, I'm going to pass it back to Colleen for our next steps.
All right. Thank you, Gabe. So right now you can play a demo of Conduit on itch.io. The full experience is targeted to be released by Q4 of 2024. This additional time will be used to polish and add in remaining features, such as a merchant and more complex boss fights. Additionally, DLC content outside of the core game will be developed after release, with a minimum of 1 companion, 1 new weapon, 3 power-ups, and a handful of new areas. Our game is scalable, and we can always add more or less depending on the amount of time we have. And to be able to do this, we would like to ask for your support. So, as you can see, here's our ask and breakdown of the projected budget. We recognize that Conduit can be improved, and we need your help. With your connections, mentorship, and perhaps funding, you can make Conduit the best game it can be. Investment into the people and our process will provide results. Speaking of the team, Conduit would not have been possible without the amazing folks that worked on it. Everyone here has the hard work, skill, and dedication to bring Conduit to its full potential. Thank you for your time, and make sure to check out our free demo right now on itch. Are there any questions?
All right, big round of applause. Oh, wait. Big round of applause to the Sylvan, Sentinels, and Conduit. Any questions from the judges?
Yeah. No.
We're going to give you 10 more seconds. I see you thinking about it, John.
Yeah.
Get up here. I believe in you. All right, buddy.
Well, I don't want to go if John wanted to do some.
We'll do John
No,
next.
no,
We're
I
actually
think go
fine
ahead.
on time, which is never true for us. So it's all good.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the question that I was really interested in is, what do you think? Earlier tonight, I asked a question about sort of the hook side of things. What do you think of as the anchor for your game? What is the audience that you are looking to pitch to in particular?
Yeah, if no one minds me taking it, I would say the anchor for our game, we are really trying to attract people who like roguelike games, specifically more action-heavy roguelike games. I think players who have fun kind of building out unique characters during their like roguelike runs and whatnot, just kind of seeing how the different items and enemies interact with each other. That's kind of the players were going for, and that's something we have to offer as well in terms of our game. You can have unique runs through different items and weapons.
I'd like to say that we're also appealing to people who enjoy narrative-driven games. So we actually have different ways you can focus more on combat or more on story, depending on what type of player you are. So it's both broad and specific, the audience.
Okay,
All right.
thank you so much.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah,
Do you want to ask one, John? Oh, I heard somebody. Is that Tim?
Yeah, William, just a quick question for the team. How long is the initial game gonna last, like the first playthrough?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question one more time? You cut out a little bit in the
Yeah,
middle
no
there.
worries. So how long is the first? How much gameplay is there gonna be upon launch?
Upon launch, if you were to play this demo, technically you could play it until level 100 if you're skilled enough. I would say in terms of like actual like content to keep the player coming back, I would say around for this demo around like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Obviously, if we had more time to expand on this, we'd want to have a much longer runtime where we can focus on more of the companion stories and the actual gameplay itself.
Right. Thanks.
Amazing. John, oh, and Chris is up too. Wow. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I think on the first set of slides, the first slide or two, you showed potentially some actual gameplay footage. Yeah, okay. I was kind of curious to see this again because a lot of the other stuff I couldn't tell the difference between what was actual gameplay footage and what was actually concept art. But it looks like all of that is actually gameplay footage.
Yep, all of the screenshots are in game.
Awesome.
Except for on the release roadmap. Those are some concept art. Everything else before that was all screenshots within the game.
Yeah, apologies. There's technical difficulties with the slides right now. It just keeps cutting out.
Nope, no worries. I'm seeing it now. It looks good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right, John, do you want to jump in or should we keep going?
Yeah, you guys can go ahead. Buddy just stole my question.
All right. Well, freaking buddy. All right. Well, thank you. Let's give one big round of applause to our penultimate team, the Sylvan Sentinels. Well done. More Fs. That was a weak F. Give me more than that. F it all around for Sylvan Sentinels. There we go. Much better. All right. Well done. You guys can head back to your seats. And our last team, last but not least, is the Heraldhearts. Get up here, Heraldhearts. And start at your leisure. Oh, we can't hear you, Akemi, if you're talking, or whoever is talking. Currently muted.
Still on mute.
We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Good evening, fellow students, teachers and staff of the IGA, and our esteemed guests, the judges for tonight's pitch. Tonight, I am going to pitch you We are the Heraldhearts, a recent studio brought together by the Indie Game Academy. We have one commercial title under our belts called Destiny Reflections, a platformer available on itch.io. And tonight, we are going to pitch you a potato! This came about because as a team, we were working on some of our documentation, and one of the questions was, what can we include in our press kit that will just really get everyone's attention? And it turned out that for some reason, someone answered a potato, and you know what? I think I've successfully gotten everyone's attention at this point. With that, I'm going to introduce the actual team. The Heraldhearts are made up of Aaron Green, one of our software engineers, Sonia Fox, Trey Poling, Adam Russell, myself, Kemi Mani Thor, and Chase Middleton. We've been brought together with our various skills, not by choice, because the classes were somewhat randomly put together, but as a team, we've definitely thrived creating and working together to create our current game, Honeydew Adieu. As a studio, we strive to make games, or we strive to be a guiding light to for creativity, making games for women and markets that are typically underserved by the traditional gaming industry. Our inspiration for Honeydew Adieu is various farm sims, as that is a staple of what a genre consumed by mostly female players, and they tend to be very cozy, cute games where you take care of a farm. That said, Honeydew Adieu is a bit of a darker take. As you can see by some of our screenshots, we have a bit more of a muted color palette than your traditional farm sim. And the summary is, don't get romance, break your habits but not your lifestyle, and then get to know your NPCs, because that's why they live in your town, and that's why you're here. So, one of the things that we found when conceptualizing this game was that romance, there's a lot of things that exist in the romance genre, specifically the farm sim romance genre. And the irony of this is that the farm sims depict a corrupted version of dating, in that you find this person that you want to romance, and you give them the exact thing they want without actually getting to know them as a person. Oftentimes, these characters are depicted as possessions of the players, and can even be considered a accessory to the main gameplay of, I'm so happy that I managed to romance this favorite character. We created Honeydew Adieu in order to address this irony, and we can bring attention to stalking victims in real life while criticizing the game mechanics, which can excuse or even encourage this behavior.
Four minutes.
As a business aspect, the cozy farm sim genre is currently oversaturated, but this leaves the market open to genre hybrids to keep the game interesting and innovative within the genre. Our take is a farming sim plus stealth gameplay that that is satirical of the tropes of the farm simulator genre. And now we'll pass it off to Sonia.
Now that we've established that the player is essentially an NPC of the game, let me take you through the NPC lifestyle, or rather the gameplay of Honeydew Adieu. The gameplay loop is a distillation of the loop of a farming sim genre that allows us to tell a greater story while capturing the audience that will appreciate it most. Players begin by picking the task they want to complete. There are several tasks to be picked from that must be reached in the game's good ending. Let's say the player picks fishing. They'll begin walking to the fishing location on the map and on the way running into NPCs while avoiding the farmer. The story of our game centralizes around Danny and Ryan. Danny's the small town girl that has dreams of moving to the big city to pursue her dreams. And Ryan is a speedrun gamer that wants to keep Danny as his wife to help him on his way to become the top of the speedrunner category. The town, or sorry, my cat. The game is set in
2
the
minutes
town of
left.
Honeydew, renowned for its world-class honey, and in just a few days away from its annual Honeydew Farmers Market. I will be heading over to Chase with the timeline.
Thank you, Sonia. I do apologize in advance for not having a camera. It decided to not work today. But getting back to this, the timeline for our game is currently as follows. It's a very brief timeline. Right now, we are releasing on itch first as a soft release. This acts more as a early access almost. It is a unpaid free early access into the game. It has most of the gameplay loop in it. All the endings are present, and it actually shows most of the core of the game. Then we go to the rest of the timeline, which is the wilderness, which is kind of the more development period of the game. This is going to be going through the rest of October and into December. By mid to late December, we're planning on doing the full release on Steam, taking the feedback from this early access phase to add more events in the game, more character interactions, and generally make the actual town and experience more polished for the player. This is hopefully going to be a way to both make the game completely fully experience what the game can be, because we are actively adding what players want into the full release.
1 minute left. Oh, perfect.
No. In summary, let's quickly speed run through this. Honeydew Adieu is a stealth anti-romance game projected to release on Steam in December, and it is currently on itch.io for free as an early access title. You can go to our itch.io to see it right now, and it is made in Godot 4. What we primarily need is marketing to help Honeydew Adieu reach the target audience that we know it has, and help with community management. This is where you can find us. I'm hoping
Amazing.
I'm correctly.
That actually means you guys are the first published IGA Godot game. That's amazing. Congratulations. Let's give one big round of applause to our final team. Well done. All right, judges, you've got 5 minutes for clarifying questions.
Okay, I've seen about a gazillion pitches for farming games that follow this formula, which I think is really strong. And what they're always trying to do is a genre fusion where it's like, I'm going to do Stardew Valley, but X, right? And adding in some sort of extra flair. What you mentioned in your pitch deck was Stardew Valley, but stealth gameplay, which I'm very interested in. Can you run me through what an ordinary player's interaction with the stealth side of the game is going to look like?
Sure. As you may have seen on some of the images, there's a large circle around the farmer character, and if you enter into that visual radius, then he will present you with a gift. So you also have to redo your schedule and routes each day in order to avoid the farmer and obtaining his gifts.
Basically, you've got somebody hitting on you a little bit too hard, and you got to get away from them.
And they know where you are.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, buddy. Any other questions? John?
So you guys mentioned that you know that there's an audience for your game. How do you know this? Like, what was your methodology to figure this out?
In our initial prototyping, we did a number of playtests. This was the strongest concept, and among the playtest survey, there was a very large percentage of people who thought this was a very interesting take on the farm sim genre. I believe it was 70% of the people who took the survey thought that this was something that they would be interested in exploring the life of the NPC of a farm sim.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions from the judges? We got time for probably one more. All right, let's give it one massive round of applause to Honeydew Adieu by the Heraldhearts. Major Fs. Well done, y'all. All right. You can go and sit your butts back down. Wow. Okay, so some of you have not been in our events before. Some of you have been in plenty of them. And for those who have been in them before, you know that us finishing with 15 minutes to spare is just unheard of. Congratulations to everybody. Can we give one giant round of Fs to all of the students for pitching their games here tonight in the past 4 months of ridiculously hard work to get here. Yeah. Jess in the comments says practice. That's why we finished early. Good job, teams. Okay, so judges, we're about to send you over into a deliberation room. Actually, either Jess or Ulysses, can you volunteer to take them over there?
Yeah, I can do that.
Sweet. Thank you, Jess. So
Yeah, if
before
you
you
guys can
go,
follow me.
1 second, just to remind you, you're picking 3 games from the 8 to win these 3 awards. The big award, the one that wins the 100 House Cup points, and therefore the biannual House Cup, since the points are close enough, is the one that you believe is the most viable that could actually succeed in the marketplace. You are also giving out 2 honorable mention awards, the best dev story, the team that you felt the most connected to, as well as the most innovative, the game that you felt like really played with genre and boundary the best. That's going to be it. Judges, you can now follow Jess. You have about 20 minutes. Jess, I will be DMing you to sort of check in with the judges.
Sure.
You can walk on over to the left side. Chris, you got to walk. You can hit escape to get away from my screen.
You can.
Walk.
I also
Here,
requested to lead you.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, judges, enjoy. All right, and to the audience, we are now going to do audience Q&A. So for the next 20 or so minutes while the judges are deliberating, you can ask any of the students your questions, and students, you can ask your own questions. If you're watching one of the streams, you can drop questions there. Haley, call out those questions for us. And then lastly, remember that we have a 4th award this time, which is the Community Choice Award. In order to pick the Community Choice Award, fill out this survey. If you answer the trivia questions correctly at the beginning of the survey, you can win yourself a free House Cup ticket. And what am I saying? A free class ticket. You can come to level 1 for free, and you can come to level 2 for 50% off. And even if you don't win that, in the second panel, you'll see that there is a place for you to choose which game you think is the most indie for the Community Choice Award. A House Cup trinket, yes. The trinkets have really messed with my head. And then on the third page, you'll see that there is feedback. If you have any feedback for the pitches or for the games, leave it there. Please do your best to keep it kind, but of course, valuable. And you have until the judges come back to fill that out. If you have not submitted it by the end of that, you will not be included in the Community Choice Award. All right, it's time for questions. Haley, it sounds like you have some. Going to call them out. And if you have questions and you're in Gather, feel free to step up to the mic and we'll call you out kind of one at a time. Yeah, go for it. I think that's for the Trinkets team, Julian. You could just feel free to unmute yourself. We should be able to hear you from down there. You can just talk from where you're at.
Sabrina, can you help me on that one? We've looked at actually John B setup.
Yeah,
where we could buy sweatshirts and stuff.
We set up a Printify shop already. So I ordered like a sweatshirt with the crow symbol on it the other day. We're just waiting to make sure the quality is good before we actually advertise anything. But yeah, we went drop shipping so that we don't have to worry about storage. Yeah, in terms of plushies, we'd probably actually have to reach out to people that can make custom stuffed animals. But there's a really good selection in the Printify shops that we've been working with. Well, it's not publicly facing yet, but
Oh, my shirt.
Well, I haven't gotten it, so I don't know if it's good yet. But
Sure.
okay.
If you join the Reddit,
Um,
you'll be the first to see the link.
Yes, join the
Yeah,
Reddit.
but
Drop the link again. And by the way, just to say it for anyone who is watching, the stream, if you signed up for the Eventbrite, we'll be doing one email. Don't worry, we're not going to spam you with all of the pertinent links to all the games, the communities, etc. So you will get an email in the next couple of days.
Yeah, one of the slides that we had actually showed a screenshot of our like our shirt mock-up. So there was like a model wearing like a Trinket shirt, and that was directly from the little shop we set up.
Amazing. All right, any other questions? If you have questions for the room and you're in Gather, feel free to just step on up to the mic. Otherwise, we're going to keep calling questions out from the community. I got one from YouTube. You have social links for the Moonstorm clerics. Ooh.
Rush just actually put it in chat just a second ago, but I'll go ahead and copy and paste it again.
Drop it here, and then we'll drop
There
it
you
in.
go.
Nice. We'll drop it on YouTube. All right. Yeah, why don't you do another Discord question?
Yeah. I can take that. Unless yeah. So our thinking with that was really just playing to our strengths as the team. Robert is an amazing 3D artist, and so we wanted to play to our strengths.
Yeah. My strength is 3D art. Yeah, that's what I'm the best at. Like more than 2D. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
No, that's good. Can everybody, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, having so many different contributors is hard, and so we had to have a really strict workflow about how that worked. And basically, if everybody can open a PR, and then I would just eat all the pull requests and deal with all the merge conflicts myself, or anybody else. But it's definitely hard. Sometimes you have to throw away some code and say, hey, can you redo this part because it got lost? And so it's not easy, but you have to just be patient and get familiar with Git. Don't be afraid of Git. Everybody should learn as much about it as they can and want to. And it's definitely scary, but not forever.
I couldn't agree more with that one. No matter who you are and what you do, it is so valuable to be technically competent. So don't be scared of Git. Get up in there. I think, are people waiting in the middle of the room there to ask questions? Is that a line? Nick, are you waiting to ask something?
No, actually wasn't. I mean, I can.
All right, ask something. Go ahead.
Chris, in Bots and Bloom, you have a significant amount of content. How are you able to generate so much content in such little time?
So, I mean, part of this is that we have like Galen writes so much, and it is incredible. Like the ideas just flow. And but also, we did. I did a lot of. It was a lot of project management, to be honest. Like, I think my team probably could attest to the fact that from like week one, we started with basically running weekly sprints, and we did bi-weekly check-ins. And anytime that anyone was stuck on something, I just like sit down with them and see what it is that they needed in order to move forward. Even if it was just like, I need emotional support and let's talk, right? Like that. There's so yeah, I don't know. It's also, I don't know, the team is great. So
I also
yeah.
want to jump in really quickly and say that Chris's management was amazing. Like using, like Tess says in the chat, our Jira board was so organized. Like everybody was on top of their stuff just consistently, and like especially Chris, like managing like where everything went was really excellent. And so I think it was just a matter of everybody working together really well and really enjoying to vibe together in the gather chat and generate new ideas as we were going.
Also jumping in, I'm sorry to also second that Tess is great, or not. Tess is also great, but also that Chris is great. I'm sorry, Tess is right below me. That Chris is great and that the product management was great. I ended up doing one of the calls where I was like, I have so much to do in this one sprint, and in the magic of project management and moving things around, it magically became manageable, and it was just amazing.
I just want to say Chris could be better.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me? I think you do. So my question is for the Trinket team. It was related to the gameplay gameplay video they've made. I want to know in which application they used to do it, because it was amazing. I have seen that also during the beta night. So yeah, how did you guys manage to do it? It was
It's
amazing.
Thanks. It was After Effects that we used. So prior to coming into this world, I was a visual effects artist for a number of years. So yeah, so that was kind of how we were able to leverage some of our skills that we brought in outside of the video game world.
I can field this one just because we did mention that the funds would help us find a character artist. Yeah, I'd say we're open to collaboration. You can reach us at Team Stargazer IGA7@gmail.com. Yeah.
By the way, it's one of those really good signs when people want to work on your game.
Yes. So yeah, you can reach out there.
I've got a question for Rapid Eye Madness. Also, I have talked like a couple different times now, and I was confused why people were ignoring me, and it's because my mic randomly turned off. Hi, everybody. I've got a question for Rapid Eye Madness. I am really curious. So your game is fascinating, and I think really hits a lot of aesthetic vibes really well. But a big part of your plan was we're going to build it up into 50 minigames. So here's my big question. Whenever you commit to more work, there has to be justification for that more work. Basically, it needs to equal more sales. So how is your game going to change in a way that will result in more money when you've got 8 minigames versus 50? How will 50 actually get you more cash?
I can take that. So each run is a specific number of games.
each game has 3 levels of difficulty. So by expanding the game, expanding out the number of games, you're not having the same exact experience every time you play. It gives more options for you and your friends to sit down, have a run, and have a unique experience all the time. It doesn't get as repetitive.
Awesome. I would be curious if you guys do some packs or something too. Like maybe it's just
That is part
minigame
of the
packs.
plan, actually.
Nice.
Post-launch, I realistically and ideally to get in a groove and put out a 10 microgame pack with a 1 month to 2 month turnaround for at least a year.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. That answers my question.
Can I go first? I'd love to say that basically the best experience was just getting to work with my team every single time we went into a gather chat together. We all started brainstorming really crazy ideas and just being silly together. And like even just before this, we were like practicing our pitch, and then we went from practicing our pitch to making ourselves into a conga line and just going in a circle around our little our little room, and just being silly and having a good time with my friends has been the best part of this.
No, I want to add to that because, of course, this team can't stop talking about itself. But one of my favorite things was definitely, I think, the way that we generated our enemies was actually Allie playing around in Spine, adding heads and legs and extra bits to the bodies of the existing enemy until we all were basically cackling with laughter at the horrifying mess that had been made, that now you can actually see as the somewhat terrifying 3-headed monstrosities that now come after you in the game. So that was truly one of the funniest moments that I've had, and just also a great creative moment that produced a really cool set of enemies. So yeah.
I've got a question from YouTube for Rapid Eye Madness again. Here is the question for the Rapid Eye Madness team. Similar to what I asked, but a little bit more detail, I think. Could you expand upon how the monetization strategy interacts with the minigame subgenre? What is your motive behind how you're monetizing?
I think I can go for this one. So the plan is to basically add more content with the big expansion pack. So the 50 games will be part of the base game. And for any additional like narrative and additional modes and additional micro games that we want to introduce to the pack, similar to how Jackbox makes its more new party games, we want it to be an expansion. And then when it comes to more of a customized experience, such as like skin packs or like different colors and filters, so that the gameplay is the same, but the visuals are tailored based on the packs, we want those to be cheaper cosmetic packs only. So if you just want the base gameplay experience, you would go for the cheaper DLCs. And if you don't care about the visuals at all and just care about more gameplay, then you would go for the slightly more expensive expansion packs.
Great answer. Haley, you got a next one for us?
Hey,
oh,
yeah,
Abby's
sorry.
also waiting.
Why
Abby,
don't
you
I
wanna
jump on?
jump
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So
Let's go.
I am very much a fangirl of Bookies. Ever since Alpha, I loved playing it. I loved the idea. So this is a special shout out to them. My question is, because of the books and the ideas for the text in the Bookies that you'd create, the titles, which one would you hope to actually come into existence? Like, say an author were to write the book, what would that be? I'm interested because I like the influence of the narrative elements that those books provide in the game. Thanks.
Problem is, I'm going to need to bring up the list of the names of the books because I don't actually
got
have
one.
them memorized. Go ahead, Jess.
Of the Fairy Lord, because it's kind of like
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of stuff you could do with that story. Like I don't think we sorted out, like full stories for our books, but in the back of my mind, that one was like Yeah, but you could tell a really interesting story with that.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good one. I think that one or the other one about like people just it's like something about I sat down and wept. There's something about that that
Yeah.
like hits my sadism. Like I just really want to hear what everyone's crying about. So it's kind of I'm just like it's got to be really epically sad. And also I like Paulo Coelho, and I think it was one of his books is like had a similar title.
I like the one that our team did that was like a mixture of happiness and sadness. So that's one that I'd be wanting to see come to life, see how that story resolves itself.
I've also always been a big fan of like Fae and Fae related stories, so I also was very interested in the tragedy of the.
Go for it.
I can answer. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. A boss, something that we really wanted in the game. I mean, obviously more companions and enemies and everything, but a boss, we just did not have the time. I have a design for it and everything. Really excited to get that in there.
I think for Rapid Eye Madness, expanding on the music and the sound effects, and also the audio logs, because we currently have 10, and so expanding on those, and exploring more sound effects and like what sounds can be put into what game to make it just like more special, juiced up, and polished and fun.
I think for Bots in Bloom, it would be the animated portraits while you're in dialogue. And then we've got the base animations for the other two robots for them to follow you while you're fighting, but they're not cleaned up enough. And then for them to actually be able to have different move sets and be able to follow you around and help you out while you're in the end bloom would be really cool. That way you could have different kind of loadouts with different robots.
Just to add a bit more to what Joe was saying with those audio logs, I'm excited to explore those. Underneath the whole microgame craziness, there's actually, you earn these logs by playing, and there's a whole mystery radio drama happening behind the scenes. And it is super fun, so that way you can sit down and actually hear the entire story just by playing the game.
Doing the voice acting for them completely thrashes my vocal cords. It's there's a reason why I've only done 3 so far.
I wanted to jump on for Stargazers, specifically talking about our scam mechanic. This was the first game in like any understanding of my own, at least, and to give me inspiration, folks in the chat for sure. But I think that like systems design as like a principle is so hard. Understanding like how to create a like whole new mechanic was really just something that like I was so appreciative that my team supported me on, and that like we got to kind of play test as we went. But I can show you like in camera like the wild like brain thinking of like all of the different like numbers that went into our game. These are just words, sorry. But I feel like a crazy person sometimes, just like going into Figma and like counting like how much does chocolate laxatives matter in our game, and that was really fun. I really enjoyed that process. So thank you to Stargazers again for that opportunity to build out a system that ended up working, which is great.
One thing I had a really great time exploring was our designer is also a composer, and Trey made some absolutely amazing musical compositions for the game that I'm a little sad that I didn't have more time to like showcase this evening. But just diving into that, and especially because I come from more lighting background, so like I know some of the sound theory, but seeing it implemented, it's amazing.
I would like to add something else about about the Rapid Eye Madness. So we had our perspective over our sound designer and over our game designer. I would like to add a bit of the software design, software part. So related to what we would like to add in the game, we would love to finish every multiplayer system that we managed to plan during the IGA, and also some localization. So some of our feedbacks were related to language support, so that would be awesome as well.
Uh-oh. Are the judges back? Judges, are you ready? All right, sweet. So students, I think basically everybody is already in their seats. Thank you, everybody, for asking your community questions. I think Jess is still wrangling at least one. Is Chris?
We are back.
Oh, no, there's Chris. Okay.
Yes.
We're back. Awesome. All right. So before we begin, before anything else, please know to all the students here that you seriously kicked ass. What you have accomplished in the last 4 months is not something most people are willing or capable of doing. So one huge round of applause to all of you for sticking it out and building some awesome games. All right. Now, I will remind everybody, judges, I'll ask that you reveal the most viable game last, because I will remind everybody that the points are close enough this House Cup that whoever wins most viable is the winner of the 7th biannual House Cup. So judges, I believe one of you has all 3 awards to present. Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, okay, that's how we're doing it. What's up, gamers?
Let's do it.
I'm it's me, it's Buddy. Okay. I'm presenting some awards. Okay.
And actually, Buddy, before you do most viable, I'm going to interrupt you because so I can do the community choice award too.
Oh, okay. That's totally cool. Yeah. That's
Sweet.
fine. Okay,
Sweet.
so I want to start with best dev story, which we awarded to the team Bladesong for Bots and Bloom. Okay, I spent a lot of time in doing pitches with with folks. Honestly, one of the pillars for publishing for Acapara is the vibe check, and I think that the story that you told about your connection to the genre was just a really great way to sort of connect us to your book. Congratulations to Team Bladesong. For the Innovation Award, we want to give this one to Team Arcade Warriors. Trinkets was one of the things that we were looking for is what's something that's going in a completely different direction. What's something that's doing it in a totally different, totally new way. And Trinkets really fit the bill for that one. And we think that it was the most innovative. Do you want to do the community award now?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to jump in with the community award. So I'm still seeing votes come in for the community award, which is awesome, but we're officially at the end of the voting period. You can still submit your Quizlets to earn a free ticket to level 1. We're going to raffle that off. You'll get an email if you won. But this is it for the community award. So interestingly, it was really close. In second place, the runner-up was Conduit with 21.2% for the Community Choice Award. The winner, good job. In fact, by the way, third and fourth place were at 18%. They were tied. The winner at 24%, only a 3% difference, is Rapid Eye Madness with Team Moonstorm. You are the winners of the Community Choice Award. Well done. All right. And now for the big one, buddy.
Okay, well, actually, all right, we are going off script. Okay, we created a whole new award category, which is sort of our runner-up. We spent the most time talking about viability, and really what we kind of came down to were 2 titles. And so I want to give a special mention to the X Factor Award, which we're giving to the title When It Falls. X Factor really defines this idea of, like, what is a game that just has this like special it factor that you're like, man, I really think this could go somewhere special. This is like the home run, maybe, if they like nailed this Hail Mary kind of pitch. Yes, it just has such a great vibe. It has such a great pitch. We love the idea that the store itself has this story to it, right? The inanimate object of the store had a story to it. So we really wanted to highlight When It Falls as this kind of runner-up, as having that X Factor. But
the X Factor Award presented by EXO.
Yeah.
John just
okay. For all the marbles.
All the
big
marbles.
kahuna, all right. The winner of the Viability Award, we gave this one to Team Sylvan Sentinels for Conduit. One of the things that we were thinking about immediately when we saw Conduit was just how action focused it came down to. Something I said in the room is I was like, I could cut 1 million trailers for this game, right? There are so many different ways that you could do it. So Conduit really, it ticked all of the boxes, and it was the kind of thing that we feel like could break out in the marketplace best. But I do want to say, from all of the judges, we loved all of the titles. We gave every title a little bit of consideration, and some titles were really in the running for different things. So I just want to stress that everybody in the judges room, we thought that this was a really great experience, and you all had really great pitches. So thank you so much.
Hell yeah, let's get a giant round of applause to the Sylvan Sentinels. Get yourself a copy. And that means the first house in the entire history of the Indie Game Academy to win 3 House Cups is Team Rangers. Y'all are killing it. Let's give one big round of applause to the Rangers. The House Rangers, excuse me. What the heck? All right. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to wrap us down, but otherwise the evening is just about done here. Before we say goodbye, I'm going to do basically 2 things. Number one, I'm going to I'm just going to say thank you one more time for the judges for being here, for deliberating, and for giving us wonderful feedback. All 4 of these wonderful people, John Nguyen from Exola, Buddy Sola from Akupara, Chris Hood from Muddy Robot, and Timothy Lim from NetEase Games did not have to give us 3 hours of their lives to sit here and watch us pitch. So thank you to the 4 of you for being here. This has been awesome. Major round of Fs for all of you. Some of these people have been around with us for a while. Some of them are new friends, but we don't really work with people that we don't think are cool. These are great people in and of themselves, and the companies that they represent are also wonderful. Go and check out the links that we've posted with those magic items on the left and right. And in that final exit email where we include all of the links, you'll get links to all 4 of them as well as their companies. So check them out. Thank you, judges, for being here. You are awesome. One more round of applause. Final round of applause for the judges. Thank you. Haley, our social media coordinator, has prompted me to remind everybody to follow us on social media. The best place to do that is our LinkedIn as well as our Discord. Maybe Haley, if you'll drop links for us, that would be super helpful. We post all kinds of helpful advice. Thank you, Haley. All kinds of helpful advice. We run all kinds of free events for the community. We are striving as best we can to become the source of indie game development as much as possible, a voice for indie game devs. We're here for the junior and the indie always. Before we say goodbye, we are about to do student graduation. So students, we're going to kick everybody out politely in just a second, but students don't leave. Even family members, we ask that family members and best friends and everything, please step out in just a moment. We're going to do actual graduation and say goodbye to level 3 cohort 7. Holy shit. What an emotional time. Before then, though, I got to do one little push for everybody. So, in the new year, we are launching our brand new incubator program. We're calling this an educational incubator. It combines some of what we love about the Indie Game Academy's core classes, but runs it in a more incubator fashion. So if you have been waiting to start your own indie game company and you're looking for one that is about as early stage as they come, we are actually getting taught by industry professionals. We'd love to have you come and consider joining us. There is an email event. There's an email list to get notified of stuff at that website. There's also more information there. And really the best place to learn about that is in our Discord. We've got an event tomorrow night for anybody who wants to find other founders to found companies with. We've got a founders networking event at 6 p.m. tomorrow night in our Discord. If you'll drop Discord links, that would be awesome. This is a year-long program where you will start your own company. You'll actually have a business LLC that you own 100%, and then we'll guide you through the production process, Kickstarter, and launch. All right. That, I think, is everything. Haley, have I missed anything? Haley is gonna pass me in followers pretty soon, and I'm a little depressed about it. All right, everybody. I'm just kidding. All right, everybody, let's give one huge round of applause to these students and the pitch night in general. Thank you, y'all. It was such a good time. All right. Thank you, judges. Thank you, attendees. Y'all are awesome. Actually, judges, do you have any last words? Do you want to say goodbye or anything? Putting you on the spot.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Hell yeah. All right. Buddy, you're talking, but we can't hear you.
Mute
It
it.
looks
You're muted.
great.
I've
It looks great,
muted
though.
myself.
There we go.
Okay. One thing I do want to mention, because listen, a pitch deck and a build is things that we're looking for. If you want to go to aquapargames.com and pitch your game, get it in front of my eyes, in front of my team, and get a shot at real funding, I would be happy to, take pitches from anybody that we saw today. I wanna say thank you so much for welcoming me into the cohort and giving everybody a chance to connect. Thank you so much.
Buddy has quickly become one of my favorite people, so hit him up. Thank you, buddy. John?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's been great being here. I always love doing these kinds of pitch competitions. If you guys know a little bit about my background, I was an indie dev myself, and I did a whole bunch of pitches myself, and even became a publisher at one point, and also received a lot of pitches. So always fun to see the next generation and what they're up to, and you guys are doing great. So keep up the good work.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Check out Exola. They're consistently very nice to us. I think they are. I think you've been our judges longest. You've sent 4 or 5 different people to these pitch nights. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Tim or Chris, you want to say anything? You don't have to. I'm not pressuring
Yeah,
you.
and I just wanted to thank everyone for the time. And I think our contact information will be shared with everyone. So it was great. It was great coming today, and thanks so much to everyone. Wishing everyone the best.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. And Chris, you want to jump in on this at all?
Yeah. Now that I finally figured out where I can stand in this thing.
Just in time.
Yeah. No, as I've said, just keep doing what you're doing. We've been, we've seen some great presentations tonight, and everybody here obviously is passionate about gaming. And, there's a lot of people that are here that are ready to support you. So continue to reach out, continue to network, continue to have conversations, You can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to mentor anybody here. So if you just want to chat or have a conversation, reach out. And just like I said earlier, just keep doing what you're doing. You're all doing a fabulous job, and a lot of this takes time and practice and patience and time and more time. So this is hard, right? Gaming and building games is hard. So all of the work that you've done is commendable. And if you just keep at it and keep practicing your craft, you're going to get better. And that includes pitching. Like, pitching is hard. So getting used to talking in front of people and knowing what to say and being able to answer crazy questions that judges have, that's what you got to keep doing. So I'm really honored that I got to be here tonight on short notice and see everything. But yeah, definitely reach out, definitely stay in touch, and keep up the hard work.
What an inspiring last word. Thank you, Chris. Major Fs. Okay. With that, it's time for our students to graduate. So, judges, I'm going to kick you out. We love you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Major Hearts. Heck yeah. We'll see you again soon. Yes, Haley, if you would end the stream, we love you. Before you say goodbye, we just dropped a link to Discord. Come and join us. Oh, did you already close it? Oh, no, we're good. Come and join us. Thank you, Haley. Indeed. Yes. Uh-huh. All right. Tomorrow we got a networking event at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a ton of free events that we put on at IGA. Tomorrow is specifically for finding co-founders. So if you're interested in starting your own indie studio, we got you. We're putting on 3 of these in the next 2 months. Tomorrow is our very first one. So come and try to find some co-founders. There are links to join the Discord down below. I think that's going to be it. Goodbye, everybody. Adios.